Hi, it's Sarah SMUTNY, your host of the Simply Imbalance podcast. I'm super happy that you're listening in today. And here in this podcast, we are going to go deep on gut health, anti-inflammatory living, spirituality, self-care, and so much more.
Hi, Steph. There we are again.
Hello. How are you?
Very, very, very good. I'm coming back from a really cool team retreat. I really had a great time in Stuttgart, and now super happy to retake everything with my podcast, with the coaching. And how about you?
Yeah, I feel like spring is coming and it helps me enormously. I feel a new surge of energy and inspiration, and it feels good to have some sunshine again.
Yeah. Here in Lyon, all the almond trees are blooming. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. When I'm jogging, I'm in complete color rush, because we haven't seen color for a little bit. Yeah, and the power of the sun, now it's back, not today, but when it's back out, you feel how powerful it is to have the sun.
Absolutely. We are just like plants, and people forget that. We need the sun so much.
Yes, we are going to Portugal soon to live there, so
I can't wait for more sunshine.
Yeah. So today's topic, we will talk about stress and hormones, which is a very big one. And that's why we kept it for the end, because it's kind of leading up to that. And a lot of people, I think everybody has problems with stress and hormones, because stress is so underrated and so omnipresent, both.
Yes.
What is your view on stress?
Yeah, I think a beautiful way of putting it, omnipresent and great word choice there. I think stress, we are so unaware of the level of stress in our bodies because it's so omnipresent, as you said, that we don't even really see the signs of this underlying chronic stress that's coming all the time. And if you think about it in really simple terms, stress is there as protection. It's nature's way of making sure that we stay alive, right?
Yeah.
But if you have it chronically all the time, it's messing up the systems in your body. For instance, when you go into a stress mode, your body will switch the energy source from the kind of rest and digest into fight and flight mode. And that's fine for a little time, because then the cortisol brings in more sugar and it gets you ready to fight or run. You get more brain power in your reptile brain, and you don't think as logically, but you're ready to kind of go into action.
More instinctive.
And all these, more instinctive. Thank you. But that also means that it's putting a pause on your digestive system and your metabolism. It's bringing up your blood pressure. It's making you more sensitive to insulin, and it's making your system switch off things to do with reproduction, which is then your menstrual cycle, because it's thinking, if we need to prioritize life and death, we're not going to be working on having a baby right now.
It's not prioritizing at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And long term, that can mean that you get extra long periods, or you get irregular periods, or you develop PCOS, which is connected to insulin resistance, or you have super intense PMS because your inflammation goes up, and with inflammation, pain goes up. So it's like a bad kind of loop that we have to try to get out of.
Like a vicious cycle, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What would you say on the subject?
Yeah, I think the best test, the auto test you can do, when you're listening now to this and you think like, am I stressed or not? Because more often we don't even feel it, because every day it's like this, we have our life, our routines, and sometimes we don't even feel it anymore because it's so chronic. The other day, when I was actually at this team retreat last weekend, I went with a few of the people in the sauna. on the last day. And although, I had a great time, but lately I also took a little bit too much projects on, too many things I was doing. And then when I was sitting in this sauna and there was this music, kind of meditative music and calm in there, and no phone, no talks, nothing. And at once I felt how shallow and fast my breathing went. And I felt my heart beating. So in these moments, so going in complete silence, and then at once you feel like how your body is like, in this kind of, it felt really weird, like being in this fight or flight mode in the sauna, although I should be completely relaxed, and it was super difficult for me to get down and relax. So even, as a health coach, it also happens to me. We are living in this society now where we are so overstimulated. We put too many pressure on ourselves. Even I have in human design, if somebody is familiar with it, I have an open crown center, which means I get all the ideas and I want to do everything. I want to try everything. So those people are very prone also to stress. Because you are putting too much. Sometimes we also put the outer pressure on ourselves. It's not always the people outside, it's also ourselves, because we have so much choices. Life, we can be the digital nomad, we can be everybody who we want. At least that's always told to us, and that can create also a lot of stress. In the old times, you wear the bacha or you wear this or that, and it was just like this. Life was simple and structured, and nowadays sometimes too many possibilities can also create stress. So that's also something I want to say about that. So that's the best auto test to do, to see, am I stressed? And I think it affects everything in our life. Everything from as you said, from the hormones to the sex drive, to the way how we gain or lose weight, the way how we concentrate, how we work, how our relationships, the way how we make decisions, everything, the way how we treat our kids. So that's why stress, as I said before, when I was talking before, it's so underrated. It's getting more and more known now that stress has a huge impact, but still it seems like a little trend word, like, oh, I'm so stressed. But
I think, I think it has a lot also to do with the fact that stress in most of our minds seems like a big traumatic thing. It has to be really big, but the stress we're talking about is the underlying kind of little low-lying, but still very present stress of, daily life stuff. And I think it definitely has to do with the fact that we have so much freedom and there's a lot of choice, and that also means we want to do a lot. And because we have a lot of convenience nowadays where, we have many things that we don't have to handle, that means we have more time to do the things that we need to do and be productive at. And therefore we have this pressure, like you said, to get stuff done, and more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. And it's also connected to our self-worth and our feelings of, getting things done. So I think
as a mom, especially being as a woman, because this podcast is mostly like listened by women. So that's why for us women, it's even more, I find it even harder, because we want everything.
So much multitasking and everything as well, and not to mention also the logistical planning of family life. That's a huge one. I remember when I first, my kids were toddlers, and I was like, whoa, there's another level of logistic, all the books, bags, the this, the that, the classes afterwards. How do we get there? How do we go? And
mental load. That's such a stress factor as well. Yeah.
I think also something. Sorry. No, I just wanted to say, I think, and I don't want to exclude fathers from this at all, but I think we're wired in a different way biologically than men that way. We're constantly also thinking about the next thing that we have to arrange and do and get in organized and place. And, like when I go to pick up my kids from school, I know that they need a snack because their blood sugar is low. And if I don't bring it, they get really grumpy. Whereas it doesn't even cross my husband's mind. And it's not because he's not loving or he doesn't care. It's just not part of his thinking. Whereas for me, it's like, I've got to have the vegetables and then I've got to have something sweet because they want to have sweet, but I need them to have like some sort of vegetable to like absorb some of that sugar rush that they're going to get, because otherwise they turn into even more grumpy kids. So I don't know. There's something
will be hyperactive. That's why this is also super underrated, and that's why we have to create. And again, we feel like even mindfulness nowadays starts to be a stress factor, because they're like, oh, I didn't do my journaling yet. Oh no, I didn't do my Pilates today. It's all on our to-do list. We see it all these things which should be like just self-care and time for us. We see that already also as a task. And that's it gets very sick after a while if we get into the spiral. And
that's a really
the whole morning routine trend. I love morning routine, don't get me wrong, but there's the 5 a.m. club. And then, you put so much pressure that you think you have to be like that. And you also have to get up at 5 or at 6 or whatever. And you just have to go back to the intuitive living. That's why that's also so important for me. Natural, intuitive living is the way to go back to the roots, basically. And
and I think that's what also brings us to the kind of what can we give you for tools. I think we all know meditation and journaling and yoga and exercise and nature bathing and all these things, but you ultimately have to find what gives you joy and relaxation. You don't have to meditate.
One thing can be one thing, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? For some people, maybe it's gardening, and other people it's cooking, and other people it's reading a book, and in other people it's listening to a podcast. I think just like you said, having all these choices and being told this is what's going to fix you, you have to kind of tune into your intuition and find like the peace and quiet within what that works for you.
Can be also ceramics, pottery, or whatever.
Exactly. For me, I know the benefits of meditation, and I don't argue them at all. But for me, in the life phase that I'm in, it doesn't fit into my life, and jogging does. And I'm so glad I found it again, because it is a way for me to be more conscious with myself and go through all my busy head stuff and kind of tick things off my list. So in a way, it's acting like meditation, because
jogging is meditation. Amazing. I love it. Because it's kind of, because you have still meditation, but you also have moving meditations, which is also Kundalini. Kundalini yoga is like moving meditation. And jogging for me is also a moving meditation, because a repetitive movement, everything which is repetitive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love it as well. So that's the thing to everybody who's listening now. Don't stress yourself. I have to journal this, this, and that. That can be so stressful. So start with one single thing. It can be writing your thankfulness journal, like 3 things you're grateful for in the evening. That can be it for 1 month. And once you integrated that, it starts to be an automatism. And then it's not anymore a task.
And then opposite to that, I think also try to look at the things that do cause you stress and figure out how can I get rid of them or reduce them or solve them, because I think alongside kind of solving the stress with relaxing activities is one, but actually trying to be mindful of why is this stress here and how can I get rid of it is part of that as well.
It can be a person, it can be situations which are coming back, patterns. But once we put the awareness on it, we are, solutions will come up how we can solve them. And what I find super important if you are now in a life phase where you're also stressed, reducing coffee is already one of the first steps I would recommend, because coffee is It's great for it. I don't want to demonize coffee. I like coffee, but especially if you're Vata as a dosha, coffee is really stimulating the cortisol. It's bringing up basically the adrenaline and the cortisol, and that's what we have already too much with stress. So that's why if you love coffee, maybe reduce it to one a day, and then the other, if you really like the taste, have another decaf, for example, or switch to matcha latte or golden latte. There's so many amazing drinks, and bring down the coffee consumption as a first step, because that is actually adding on top stress on the already stressful lifestyle, and then helping like with adaptogens like ashwagandha to bring down the stress. You also have Bach flowers. Do you say that in English like that? Bach flowers? Bach flowers?
Yeah, the Bach flowers. Yeah. The flower essence stuff. Yeah.
Bach flowers. You can also get them in the pharmacy, or you can also let them be mixed just for you.
Yeah.
There's so many.
And also essential oils. Essential oils are really good, diffusing or putting them in oil and then rubbing them on your wrist or whatever.
Yeah. Orange, how it's called? Orange peel. Orange peel oil is super good also for relaxing your mood. And saffron is also super good. Yeah, there's many adaptogens. If you want to know more after this podcast, what you can take, or what, on the herbal solutions, you can always reach out to us on Instagram, and we give you some more detailed, tailored recommendations, what you can do also in terms of herbs and teas. Certainly you can really help yourself there, and taking away the coffee and finding one activity, which is one single activity already to start with, which brings your awareness more,
into your body.
It can be all running or reading your book, putting the phone away and drinking a nice tea. Can be so many things, like simple life, like when we think of our grandmothers, they also didn't do very crazy stuff. They just did life, gardening, washing up. Actually, washing up can also be very meditative.
Oh my God, I love folding clothes. I used to hate the laundry, and now I love it because it's like repetitive, super relaxing.
listening to jazz music while you're folding the clothes. We do these things very far too little lately. We are so overstimulated. So that's really a big topic for me. Also in my own life, I don't want to take myself out of this. We are just living in this society. So
there's one more thing actually, and I should have mentioned it earlier, but I want to not forget it. I think also having moments that give you joy and that take you out of the go moment. So it's being called a glimmer, and basically it's the opposite of stress. It's something that gives you joy but also makes you feel safe, whereas the stress, you feel unsafe with this moment. So like you said, like having a cup of tea in the sunshine, or rubbing your feet, or
meeting with a friend, meeting with a friend, or going in the forest.
Exactly.
By the way, forest, going in the forest is, I didn't mention it earlier, but it's one of the biggest antidotes for stress. But it's so nice that you say that, because joy is basically the antidote for stress.
It slows everything down and makes us more present, and also slows down the breathing, like you said, the high chested breathing brings it down in the diaphragm and the stomach, and that's where it should be for good digestion and the rest of it.
Also breath work. So there's 3 other practices which I inspire you to test, for yourself, to see which of them you like. One is Yoga Nidra. You can also listen on to it. There's also free episodes, audios, on Spotify. But you can also go to a Yoga Nidra class. I like it a lot to listen to it online with my earphones earplugs, and then just drift off, because it's basically like a lying meditation, yoga nidra. If you never did it, it's nothing where you don't move your body. You're basically lying, listening, and falling in kind of this. Your body is your mind is awake, but your body falls asleep. It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. It's like a trance state almost.
It's amazing. Yeah. I love it. And this is before going to sleep in the evening, yoga nidra. I will also write it in the show notes. That's something you can try out. And another one is Soma breath work. I will also put it in the show notes. And that is also something you can do with audio, also with your headphones in, and just also, again, follow the instructions of how to breathe in, out. And that also regulates your nervous system. Super powerful. And what was the third one? Yin yoga. There I would really go to a class in offline, I mean, in the real class. And it's mostly 1.5 hours, and that's so powerful as well. Like going down and also going in the resting mode. Yeah. So these are 3 practices I really love. I don't do them all lately. I'm always switching between them. So mostly lately I do yoga nidra or breath work. So choose one of them for yourself once you tested them, and then just see what it does for you. And
that's a great one. Yeah. I love that. And I wanted to add one more to that. Very practical, but it works so well for me, and especially because I'm also a Vata and my brain is buzzing before I go to bed. I lie on a spiky mat, like it's called a prana mat or a shakti mat, and that really, really helps take it out of the body. It's kind of like acupuncture, because there's these spikes and you lie on it, and it kind of unblocks the energy basically, and it helps soothe down the buzz in your head, for me at least.
I never tried this. Thanks for inspiring me. Yeah. So how do you call it? Prana mat.
Prana or Shakti mat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I will also put it in the show notes. Then you can check that out. And so yeah, before we stop this episode, I would just want to go one last time in the details. What is actually sex? Sex drive is now written in front of me. That's why I said sex. So what is cortisol doing? Cortisol is a stress hormone. So first of all, it kind of also has an impact on the sex drive. That's why it came to me, because it was this first word on my list here. So it has an impact even on our sex drive, because it interferes with estrogen and the testosterone. And it interferes, as you already mentioned, with the menstrual cycle. Just to, explain you in a few last sentences why it's really so impactful to work on your stress. And, this can impact your relationship very deeply. And that's why already addressing that can be super helpful. It also has, of course, an impact on your thyroid hormones. And it can even lead up to hypothyroidism, difficult word. It can impact your insulin. It can create like insulin sensitivity or resistance. And a lot of people who cannot, for example, also lose weight easily have a problem with, at the end, stress. And it's also partly linked to the liver, but stress is playing a big role in it. So it also impacts your growth hormones secretion. And so basically can also have an impact on the appearance of your skin, because then your body, as you already explained so well, the body doesn't repair anymore, so the tissues, if you're in chronic stress, because he just thinks the whole time that you have to run from the tiger. So that's why he doesn't. It's like, the skin is not anymore so plump. Doesn't matter anyway. Steph, she has to run from the tiger now. So her skin is not so important now, not a priority. So but if you have all the time, then you get more wrinkly, more tired, looking more tired, getting dark bags under the eyes, and all these things. So it can also have an impact on your skin, your appearance, and your overall metabolism at the end, the stress. And last, adrenal fatigue. It's also a big topic. We could even make one podcast only about adrenal fatigue, because basically your adrenal gland can get very tired then by the because in the beginning
constant on and off.
Yeah. By this, and then at the end can get very strong symptoms like chronic fatigue, not sleeping anymore, which leads to more chronic fatigue, moods, like very, very, very changing moods, not concentrating at all. Yeah, can really
cravings, lots of
cravings, sugar cravings, like crazy. Yeah, so I mentioned quite some things now. So if you can recognize yourself in only a few, then certainly you should really work on your stress, because it's life-changing to get into this calm mode. It's not easy. Because we get constantly bombarded by stress. So creating this bubble for you, this kind of safety bubble, and these moments where you're offline also, that's super important, offline. Because the phone and all this being online all the time is also creating certainly a lot of stress on people. It's not natural. Yeah. So do you have one last tip for our listeners before we stop this super important episode?
Yes, I have one very quick one, and this is a really nice little tool to have in your pocket when you feel really stressed. A way to totally tell your body it's safe and it doesn't need to run and hide or fight is to sigh 3 times. Just like, that's telling your body it's all okay, calm down, we don't need to stress.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good one. And also another one I love a lot is soft belly breathing. So basically breathing in, keeping the breath, and then breathing through the mouth out, and trying to, while you breathe out, trying to, as if you want to caress, how do you say that? To kind of
caress,
caress your belly with your breath. So basically breathing out, like trying to touch along your body with your breath, and that you call soft belly breathing, and that's proven to bring down the stress levels. So if you do that more times a day, there's many breathing techniques, which we could make another episode on.
Yeah, definitely.
Ones. And so a few of them you also learn if you go to a yin yoga class. They also do a few breathing techniques in there often. So maybe this will also inspire you to do them at home once you learn them in these classes. So certainly try them out. It helped me a lot, and I can highly recommend this kind of little simple practices. Yeah. Okay, so reach out to us if you have any questions, if you feel you want to share or you want to ask anything. That's why we are doing it. So don't hesitate to ask us on our Instagram, and leave us, if you like this episode, on iTunes, the Balanced Tribe, leave us a review. That will help a lot, and thanks so much for listening in. See you next time.